Ryan, we welcome you to the SEC on ESPN from Starkville, Mississippi. It is the final weekend of regular season competition. Already a 9-0 start for 13th-ranked Tennessee on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. In the SEC, Tennessee solidly third place. In the Eastern Division, Mississippi State, with a win today, takes the SEC Western Division outright. I'm Carter Blackburn with Jimmy Dykes. 8 days away from Selection Sunday. Mississippi State figures to be right there on the cut line. So what does a Bulldog win today over Tennessee do for Mississippi State?
Well, it greatly increases their chances. I love ball games when there's pressure on a team to win. Today in a one-hour shoot-around, Mississippi State's head coach Rick Stansbury told me 6 times I counted, Jimmy, we have to win this game tonight. Now, that's the pressure that his club is under, and they have not performed well to start this ball game with pressure on them in a must-win situation.
It is a 9-0 start for Mississippi State, so again, it's a critical one for their at-large NCAA chances, but also a chance to win that SEC West title outright. Tennessee's ticket to the big dance is punched. Now it's just a question of what number is going to be next to their name.
You know what? Tennessee could climb as high as a very good 3 seed, and they have come out of the starting blocks with a lot of energy, a lot of passion. And the emotions of senior day toppled with the pressure of we must win. And Mississippi State has not handled either one of those so far the first 4 minutes of this ball game.
So there's 36 minutes to go between Tennessee and Mississippi State, but a 9-0 start for the Vols. Mississippi State 0 for 4 from the floor, 2 turnovers, and now Jarvis Bernardo, one of the 2 seniors being honored today on senior day to try and get that 0 off the scoreboard for Mississippi State.
When you look around the college game today, Carter, Mississippi State chasing teams like UConn, lost at South Florida.
0 for 2 from the line. Tennessee still up 9-0. What Bruce Pearl told his team today is, hey, we want to be like West Virginia going to Villanova. Even though we know that we're going to be playing in the NCAA tournament, we want to be playing like a great team when the NCAA tournament comes around. And they have responded to his call. Bobby May's layup makes it 11-0.
But what did West Virginia do today? They sent a statement, you know, on the road against Villanova to that selection committee. We are playing very good basketball right now. And that's the same statement that Tennessee wants to make today.
An 0 for 5 shooting start from Mississippi State. Kenny Hall backing in on Jarvis Bernardo, the NCAA's all-time shot block leader. And Hall floats it home, 13-0 Vols.
Mississippi State's going to shoot 26, 27 three-point shots in a ball game. If they start going in, then that's when this building gets rocking. But so far, Tennessee has been terrific defensively.
Chisholm helps disrupt the pass to Bernardo. Bobby Mays, the senior from Maryland, pushes the Vols. Knocked from behind by Boss, so Tennessee keeps it. And Tennessee has quieted Humphrey Coliseum in the early going with a 13-0 start. Every Mississippi State fan in this building knows that they need a win to keep the NCAA at-large chances alive.
Have to. It's a have-to win for Mississippi State. And even with a win today, wouldn't lock up anything. But they're down, you know, 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. Not even 6 minutes in.
And an uncontested layup to J.P. Prince. Boss turns it over again. Hobson makes it a 17-0 start.
Rick Stansbury needs it, not only a timeout, he needs a light a fire under someone's rear end timeout, because his club is not playing on either end of the floor. You have to be tough enough and mature enough to shake off the emotions of senior night and a must-win ball game. And Mississippi State right now, if I'm Rick Stansbury, I am lighting into some folks in that huddle.
Notice the
Athletic Association, the #1 seed, and that's a good win, but that's certainly not enough on the resume yet.
D. Boss misses the triple, 0 for 6. Now it's nearly 6 minutes in. Mississippi State still scoreless.
I'm more concerned about the body language of Mississippi State to start this game. A little lackadaisical. You would think they would have more fight, more moxie, more of an edge to them. And so far, Tennessee has owned every one of those categories.
Mississippi State coming off a Wednesday loss at Auburn. They'd won 3 straight prior to that. Last game at Beard Eves Memorial Coliseum, not exactly Freedom Hall, but still an emotional game for Auburn that they won. Bernardo spins and was fouled on the floor by Hall.
They better shake that off, and almost like they need to be punched in the nose and say, hey, wake up, the game's on. Well, Mississippi State shot at an at-large, going right through their hands early.
Off the inbound, finally a bucket. It comes from Phil Turner. Over 6 minutes into the ball game.
Saw a few of the Tennessee fans actually applaud on that. That's how bad of a start Mississippi State has had.
Now can the Bulldogs put together a run to get back in the first half? Stewart, triple, got it.
He's a senior. He's the school's all-time leading three-point shooter. And as bad as they started, you can see this crowd understands the importance of this game.
Goins slips. Hobson there to bail him out. Boss got a hand on it, and now the body language that you were looking for coming from Mississippi State.
Because it was not there, partner, the first 4 or 5 minutes. And well, that's something that's very difficult to get a read on sometimes from your guys. Rick Stansbury, he thought his guys were ready to play. They had a very good, detailed walkthrough, but the first 4 or 5 minutes, they were not.
Whistle away from the ball. Offensive foul called by Teddy Valentine. In his 18 seasons as a head coach, he has now won 20 games in 17 of those 18 years, including all 5 at Tennessee.
And Carter, you have to fight for your three-point looks against Tennessee. They're the best in this league at defending the three-point line, only allowing 29%.
Goins stops, floats it over D. Boss to make it a 19-5 game.
Well, Bernardo was there on the slip. I mean, he was absolutely there on the pro rim run, and they turned him down.
Here's Jarvis Bernardo throwing it in reverse.
If Tennessee is not going to double down on Bernardo from the perimeter, he could have big numbers, and he needs to have big numbers over the next 3 or 4 minutes.
A cutting Tatum takes it to the baseline. Prince fouled as he cuts to the rim.
That's the Cutters offense out of Tennessee. It's their flex cut along the baseline that has been so good to Bruce Pearl over his 18 years as a head coach. That reverse action flex cut started with Pete Newell out in California, Carroll Williams at Santa Clara. It's very difficult to defend.
4 across the baseline off the inbound for Tennessee. Prince takes it at the high post. Brent right past Beanock and draws a foul. Tennessee's won 4 of 5, including the victory over Kentucky last Saturday, becoming the first team since 2002 to beat the #1 team in the country, the #2 team in the same season. Trouble getting it in here. Timeout, Tennessee.
30-second timeout, Tennessee.
You know, Bruce Pearl put this guy on the bench at Florida about 12 days ago because he was floating. He was not playing like the former high school All-American and Jordan Brand All-American that he should be. And from that point on, he has been very aggressive. He's not coasting, he's not floating. He is forcing himself into the action on the offensive end, off of the bounce. Not just a jump shooter, but attacking the 10.
And he has a stake in this one. He verbally committed to Mississippi State, then opened up his recruitment and ended up at another SEC school, Tennessee. This is Scotty Hobson's first game playing at Starkville against Mississippi State after that decommitment from the Bulldog program. A native of Hopkinsville, Kentucky. That's outside Louisville. 8 minutes in, 12-point lead for Tennessee, and a must-win game for Mississippi State's at-large chances for the NCAA tournament. J.P. Prince bumps, play on. Vols will keep it when we come back.
And Carter, to me, that's a sign right there that Mississippi State is just not on edge. What can J.P. Prince do? Drive to his left and get fouled. And twice already in this game, he's done it.
ESPN's
Mississippi State, all sorts of offensive problems over 6 minutes in before they scored, but defensive problems as well in the early going.
Just not alert, just not attentive, just not on edge. Look at D. Bost out here, the point guard, at the top of the screen, trying to circle him until I get a blister on my index finger, and it's not working. But you have to wake up defensively. Here we go. Now watch D. Bost. Just continue to follow him. This is not a screening action, just not alert. Wake up. What are you looking at? Why are you not down in a stance and seeing them both and playing like your NCAA life is on the line? And I think that's the message, the most important message that Rick Stansbury has had to deliver to his kids. Wake up. Let's get going.
This is just a perplexing first 8+ minutes here in Starkville. 9 for 13 shooting start for Bruce Pearl's team. They started 17-0 against Mississippi State.
Cart's a good club. Tennessee is a very good basketball team. All you have to know is what does Kentucky and Kansas have in common? A loss to the Tennessee Volunteers, and that's you know, 2 #1 seeds right there. So these guys in orange now, if you're not ready to play, they can put it on you quickly.
Oh, 102, last time that happened. Prince gets a steal from Augustus. J.P. Prince will take it himself. Blocked by Augustus. Off of a Bulldog Tennessee basketball. Folks in Starkville didn't think so.
Look at the SEC right now. Kentucky projecting as a #1 seed. Vanderbilt a 3 seed. They get beat at home today against South Carolina, so they would maybe drop Tennessee a 4 seed. I think they could play their way up to a 3 seed, and Florida an 11. And Ole Miss and Mississippi State are the next 2 in line out of this league for an at-large bid, but they are desperate right now for wins.
Ole Miss did themselves a favor by coming back yet again for a win. Another of the potential bubble teams from the SEC. Goins is fouled on the floater, so Melvin Goins to the free throw line. So the updated standings in the SEC West, and again, pertinent for Mississippi State. If they win today, they win the SEC West. Mississippi State will be the #1 seed in the SEC tournament from the West side next week in Nashville by virtue of their wins over Ole Miss. Well, Goins misses them both, so Mississippi State yet again a chance to put together a run and get back in the ballgame.
And again, they need good offense because Tennessee, they're going to throw some things at you defensively. Sometimes they ice you and keep you on one side of the floor. You have to run stuff and get clean looks. That's not it.
Tonight, ESPN at Cameron Indoor Stadium, the 5th consecutive win at Cameron Indoor.
I know the Tar Heels have struggled, but you know this. If they could cost Duke a chance at a #1 seed, takes a lot of pain out of their season, doesn't it?
It's happened before. One of those Carolina teams that struggled in the first part of last decade. Late season win over Duke. Bernardo with the ball screen. Now he gets it back from his fellow senior Barry Stewart. And a foul. So here it is, the last time they will likely meet in the college game, and that's exactly what Bernardo and Mississippi State is trying to do today. Hang another loss on Wayne Chisholm. There's Bernardo with the rebound. Bost runs the Bulldogs. Turnover again. Number 7. Williams a dunk on the other end. A 21-8 start for Tennessee.
Maybe as poor of an opening to a ball game that Mississippi State's had all season. At the most crucial time, when the message has been sent, we must win this ball game. They are not executing. They've been out hustled. They've been out tough. And they have dug themselves a serious hole.
We're saying again, Jimmy, you talked about how you enjoy seeing teams when the pressure is on. The pressure is squarely on Mississippi State. They have not responded in the first 10.5 minutes. 5 to shoot, 4 to shoot. Stewart to the paint. Tries the dish to Bernardo. Draws the foul. He'll go to the free throw line again.
Right now. Wow.
How quiet is it in this building?
About 11,000 fans just heard you ask that question. Here's the flex action by Tennessee. Reverse the basketball up top and get action on the baseline.
Maybe so quiet in here you can hear a bubble burst. Tennessee keeps it this time as well.
Get into their flex cut, even from the side out of bounds. Or a pin down for a guard, but 6, they can't be too selective.
Prince floats with the shot clock winding down. DeBoss trying to get Mississippi State going in transition. Prince bothered the shot. Bulls bring it back. Bobby Mays takes it to the rim. Around Vernardo and in. 23-8 Tennessee. Stewart trying to get any kind of offense in transition. Takes the tough 2. Williams there for a rebound. It is all Big Orange.
And Carter, if you're Mississippi State right now, you can't look at the officials. You can't be begging for calls. I mean, you have been hit in the nose now 3 or 4 times and have not responded.
Hobson misses the triple. Wow. There's a stick back for Williams.
Very difficult to describe how Mississippi State has started this ball game. With the offensive rebounds, the loose balls.
Boss knocks down a triple. And finally, Mississippi State is in double digits with 7.5 to go in the first.
Part of Mississippi State is one of the better, top 2 or 3 defenses in the SEC. They've been a little offensive sensitive to start this game. Their lack of offense continues to affect their defense, and that's not a good sign.
Augustus blocked, but Tennessee gets it again. Prince hard to the rim again, drawing the foul on Vernardo. The Bulldogs have no fight to begin. It's all Tennessee. A 14-point edge for the Bulls. All right, Kansas State is one of those teams who has come an awful long way during the regular season, and maybe more to go in the NCAA.
I think this
barely ranked at the beginning of the season.
Florida that year in 2006 started off 39th. LSU was 32nd. George Mason was not even in the top 52 receiving votes. And without those, 3 or 4 really knockout dominant teams, it could shake down to be a year where teams like that, now they get in that right bracket and things fall their way, and boom, all of a sudden they're standing there at the very end.
Well, here in Starkville, Mississippi State was hoping to get a end of the season resume building win against Tennessee in hopes of seeing their name in the bracket 8 days from today on Selection Sunday. Instead, down by 15 to Tennessee. And not many times you see a game 13 minutes in, it's a 15-point game, and you say, Mississippi State actually maybe, as Hall gets a follow dunk around Vernardo. But now, I mean, a 17-point game, and Mississippi State may be fortunate to only be down by 17.
That's all you need to know about this ball game right there. There's Kenny Hall. Comes in and dunks over the top of the all-time leading shot blocker, Jarvis Vernardo. That was a want-to play. That was playing with an edge. That was playing with a purpose. That was having some intent about what you're doing. The shot goes up, and watch 20 in orange, Hall. I don't care if you block more shots than anyone else. I will dunk on you because I'm bringing a bigger ticker to the floor in this ball game. Outstanding effort by Tennessee.
Doesn't that kind of summarize Tennessee's season as well? I mean, they, by all rights, when you get down to 6 scholarship players after the New Year's Day incident where one player, Tyler Smith, you have to totally change the dynamic of your team, your rotation. And yet, here they are ranked number 13 in the nation, out-hustling Mississippi State on the road.
The most resilient team I've seen this year in college basketball is Tennessee. They've had a couple of opportunities where they had built-in excuses. They could have got their dauber down and not gotten it back up. But, to bounce back from losing to Florida to come back to beat Kentucky, And then just after the suspensions in January, they take down Kansas. And this is a very resilient team that will be a tough out in that NCAA.
Stephen Pearl is one of those reasons why. This is the son of head coach Bruce Pearl, who barely played in his first 2.5 years in Knoxville, walk-on player. He had scored 21 points in his first 2.5 years as Augustus knocks down a triple. Since January 1, he scored 33.
Mississippi State, they need stops right now. Their offense will come at some point in this game, but they need stops.
Mays gives him one there with a missed three. Rayvern Johnson misses.
Now, right now, you go right back down and you defend your tails off again. Don't worry about the miss.
Bernardo hustling to knock that one away from Hall in transition. Men's college basketball. Jimmy Dykes from Humphrey Coliseum in Starkville, Mississippi, where the Bulldogs came into the day knowing that they needed a victory against Tennessee to keep the NCAA at-large chances alive. Allowed Tennessee to get out to a 17-0 start, and now Mississippi State trying to claw its way back. Pearl blocks Augustus at the rim. Boss, second chance, count it, and one.
Stansbury would love to have this game in single digits by the half. He would love it.
Tipped away, taken away by Augustus. Stewart misses the triple.
Not in love with the offense. First side of the floor, not one pass made. And you settle for a first side, no pass three-pointer. I would make Tennessee work a little bit defensively.
Going strip, Hall gets it back. Boss strips it again. The sophomore from North Carolina sets the Bulldogs in the half court. Wide open Stewart. Won't go. Bernardo there. Stick back, rolls off the rim. Prince on the other end floats it in. Mississippi State has a chance to get it to single digits. Bernardo can't hit from right under the hoop. Now it's back to a 13-point game.
Carter, a couple of weeks ago I was here and I talked about guarding your yard. That yard that's on both sides of you as a defender, you are responsible to make sure the driver doesn't drive right over the top of that yard. And Mississippi State has not done a good job of that early in this game.
Augustus down the baseline on Prince. Bothered inside by Hall, sticks with it, draws the foul. To make a run. But Big Orange still up big. Mississippi State now. They allow Tennessee to get out to a 17. What is it, Jimmy? The dauber? The dauber is down?
You never want to get your dauber down. And if you get it down, you got to get it back up in March, especially when you need a huge win.
Dauber's running pretty low right now for Mississippi State, you would say?
And right now, yep.
Okay.
Defend right now for Mississippi State. That's what you focus in on.
It's bubble trouble and Dauber danger.
Yes.
Bulldogs. Hobson bothered inside. Williams sticks with it. Augustus yanks it. Now Mississippi State has to go down and score.
Without Bernardo on the floor, you don't have a true guy you can throw it to on the inside. So a set play probably for a three-point shot is what State would like. There it is.
Couldn't get it. Mississippi State 3 for 11 from behind the arc. They've made only 6 field goals in the first half.
You know what, D. Boss is really bothered by that right hip when he took some contact on that drive. And I'm not so sure his speed side to side is good as a defender right here. Goins could take him.
Melvin Goins, the junior from San Diego, gets a screen from Williams and gets fouled by Cody Augustus on the jump shot. That was classic to see the Tennessee guys. They were just blown away.
Yeah, they were.
Season low 23, 21 points for Mississippi State. Only 6 made baskets in the first half for the Bulldogs. Tennessee was out to a 17-0 start. Mississippi State desperately trying to just get it to single digits by the half. It's now down to one-on-one, more missed shots. Goins creates for Scotty Hopson on the other end.
Now watch Tennessee make Mississippi State work defensively. Right now they're doing it from all areas. They've knocked down threes. They've driven the ball to the rim. They've thrown it inside and scored. They've gotten on the offensive glass. They've made free throws.
It's getting so deep for Tennessee. Woolridge with that last basket. He had played all of 2 minutes in the last 5 games. He gets in the game, gets a layup. And a 15-point lead for Tennessee on the road in what was a must-win game for Mississippi State's at-large NCAA chances.
Boy, and you know, the Rick Stansbury and his staff are perplexed right now about the play of their guys.
I mean, you hardly say that in the game in the first half down by 15, but that may be the case. Stewart in a 2-man game with his fellow senior from Tennessee, Bernardo. Whip it back around to Turner. Bernardo catches in the mid-post. Johnson, triple. Air ball on the 3 from Mississippi State's best three-point shooter, Rayvern Johnson. That's a 41% three-point shooter, hoisting up an air ball. And so now with the shot clock turned off, the Vols will have a chance to extend a 15-point lead before the break. Hopson over Bernardo. It won't go. Stick back, however, by Cameron Tatum. Count the bucket. Tennessee by 17 at the break on Mississippi State. The Bulldogs go the first 6 minutes without a field goal to start. They go 4+ minutes without a field goal at the end of the half. A 17-point Tennessee lead like it went through the first 20 minutes. Even when Tennessee misses a stick back by Cameron Tatum on the offensive glass, it's a 17-point lead for Tennessee on Mississippi State. Jimmy Dykes is with Rick Stansbury.
Rick, how do you explain the start of this ball game from your guys?
Jim, we haven't had a start like this all year long. I don't know if the emotion of senior night, whatever it is, Tennessee's good, number one, but we're nothing like we normally are.
What do you say to your guys in the locker room knowing what's at stake in this ball game right now?
Well, number one, whatever we did the first half, just don't do that no more. Let's go out and relax and go play now.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
At the half in Starkville, Mississippi, 38-21, Tennessee on Mississippi State. Now we send you to Ryan Burr for the UPS Halftime Report.
Thanks so much. So 17-point for Jay Williams and Doug Gottlieb. The fortunate part for Tennessee here, Mississippi State and Tennessee played 21-21 the final 14 minutes of the first half. Even game. Problem was, Mississippi State fell behind 17-0. Let's get to the highlights. Number 1 team in the nation, Syracuse, on the road at Louisville.
Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN from Humphrey Coliseum in Starkville, Mississippi, where the 13th ranked Tennessee Volunteers have a 17-point lead on Mississippi State. I'm Carter Blackburn with Jimmy Dykes. This was supposed to be a statement game for Mississippi State's NCAA at-large chances. Halfway through it, they're making the wrong statement.
Well, they are, and I go back to what Rick Stansbury told me at the halftime as he went off the floor. He said, I'm going to tell my guys, whatever you did in the first half, leave that in the locker room for the second half. What is that? They did not defend. They did not rebound. They did not take care of the ball. They weren't patient with their offense, and they have dug themselves a big 17-point hole on a day that they need to make up a lot of ground in the eyes of the NCAA selection committee.
It was a 17-0 Tennessee start, 17 at the half. In fact, 3 times in the first half, Tennessee was up by 17. Earlier this year against Georgia, Mississippi State was down 11. That's their largest halftime deficit. They came back and won that game 72-69. Rayvern Johnson knocks down a triple to get the second half started in much better fashion than the first.
You know, I was anxious to hear what Bruce Pearl told his guys at the half, and he told me during the halftime warm-ups, I told my kids, I want you to go out and act like we are down 10. So in the first 4 minutes, we have to come out smoking once again. And remember, Mississippi State's going to shoot 33s in a game. If they start making them, they got a chance to get back in this.
Chisholm misses his first look at the second half. With a win, Mississippi State wins the SEC West title outright. It's a statement win on their NCAA at-large resume. And back-to-back threes by the Bulldogs. Cody Augustus knocks that one down, holding them within 11, bringing life back into the hump.
Mississippi State could not play any worse than they played in the first 20 minutes. And to only be down 11 with, 18 and change to go, I think they have to feel good about playing terrible, if there is such a thing.
This is the SEC outright.
Carter, here's the issue I have with how the SEC bracket is set up for the tournament. The SEC East, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Florida, the top four in the East, are a combined 24-0 against teams from the West. Yet when you look at the bracket for next week, teams from the West that finish first and second, Mississippi State and Ole Miss, will get first-round byes over teams like Tennessee and Florida. That could easily be corrected if the SEC would go to the same formula as the Big 12 and just list them 1 through 12. I think that would be the answer.
Johnson lays that in on the third chance for Mississippi State, back to an 11-point game. Chisholm gets past Bernardo. Stewart tries to draw the charge. Instead, kick out. Mays triple won't go. Barry Stewart, one of the two Mississippi State senior players honored today, along with Jarvis Bernardo, brings it back into the corner. Johnson left open. Prince carried it. Turnover 10. First half points in the paint, 30-6 in favor of Tennessee.
They are, but with all that, with all the issues they've had, they are a three-point basket away from this building having a lot of life.
Stewart turns it over, however. Bobby Mays and the Volunteers bring it back. Off the glass, Prince followed dunk. Second time that a ball has gotten a stick back dunk around Jarvis Bernardo.
Tennessee's not only getting the 50-50 balls, they're getting the 70-30 balls. The ones that they should only get 30% of the time, they're getting them 70% of the time. And to me, that's an energy and an effort and a focus level that's different between these two clubs.
So a 6-0 start to the second half for Mississippi State, but now they're back to their ways of the first 20.
I think we pretty much have detailed what we have not seen from Mississippi State. What we have seen from Tennessee, though, a very good ball club again. They've knocked off Kansas and Kentucky. You don't do that without having a lot of things that you can do well.
Tennessee coach Bruce Pearl told his guys we want to go out with a statement win like West Virginia did today in Villanova. Not just getting into the tournament, getting a better seed and showing that we are one of the top teams in the country. And that's what you're seeing from Tennessee. Scotty Hobson knocks down the triple, 16-point edge.
And that reverse action offense by Tennessee, all triggered by Stephen Pearl to take that ball in the teeth of the defense, make the defense respect it in the open kick.
Moss down the baseline. Kick out. Cody Augustus triple. Goes. And I guess, Jimmy, if you're a team that's going to be down by 17 at the half, the three-point shot is the thing that's going to get you back. That's Mississippi State's specialty.
That's what they do. They're going to get their 30 attempts up per ball game.
Off the miss from Prince. Tennessee gets back. Moss thought about the transition three. Rayburn Johnson takes it. Prince yanks it. Bulls on the run. Hobson triple. Got it. So a missed three on one end from Johnson. Hobson answers.
Scotty Hobson, to me, in the month of January and part of February, he kind of floated, kind of coasted, kind of conserved his energy at parts of the ball game. Not any longer. The last 2 weeks, he has been very aggressive.
Jarvis Bernardo doubled by Hobson. Kick out to Johnson. 10 to shoot. Cody Augustus, shot fake, over Pearl, missed the shot, and then goes over the back for the foul. That is his third. And when we return to Starkville, we'll have an update on Renardo Sidney, the youth basketball phenom sitting out for Mississippi State.
The fans
Gators.
Let me tell you my take on the entire Renardo Sidney situation. From the time he was 13 to the time he was a senior in high school, adult figures that were in his life made bad decisions and gave him bad direction. As a result, it cost this young man an entire year this year in college basketball and 9 games next year, plus the money. And it's those adult decisions that affected Renardo Sidney that he has to.
The individual is not the kid. It's, like you said, the adults around him. One more note there. Renardo Sidney said last night that he is coming back. There was speculation that he would just bypass college and enter his name into the NBA draft, since he did spend a year at Mississippi State attending school but not playing basketball. That was Mississippi State's decision to hold him out, but he says that he will come back. He will be a sophomore. So even though he sat this year, it does count as a year of eligibility.
And he's a difference maker. I mean, he's a guy that was one of those elite talents like a DeMarcus Cousins last year. And when he does finally step on the floor, if it is here, he is an instant difference maker. Look at the score. As poorly as they've played, they cannot play any worse, Carter, than they've played for 26 minutes, and they're only down 11.
In a critical game for Mississippi State's at-large NCAA chances, from 17-0 down in the early going, the Bulldogs have a chance to get it to single digits.
Well, you just got to cut it loose and play. That's what Rick Stansbury said he was going to tell them at the half, and turnovers are not a way to do it.
Tatum finishes on the other end. Yet another opportunity for the Bulldogs to get it to single digits. Tennessee answers. They just will not give up the double-digit lead that they have earned.
Tennessee's so good at points off of loose balls that result in an unbalanced floor. Probably the best this league has in those situations.
Backdoor cut, wide open for the senior from Shelbyville, Tennessee, Barry Stewart. Goins was held.
In that time.
By the way, with Jay Williams in the studio, Barry Stewart says that 22 that he wears, he's worn through his Mississippi State career because he grew up a Duke fan, Jay Williams fan. Off to Bernardo block. This is Rayburn Johnson. Kick over to Barry Stewart. Still 11. Again, a chance to get it to single digits. Tennessee responds. J.P. Prince dunk.
Boy, Goins was very strong with that basketball in the lane. He had 3 jerseys surrounding him as that point guard, and he never picked it up until the last possible second to make the pass, and a great cut by Prince.
Stewart behind the screen from Bernardo. Foul on Prince before the basket. 19 seconds ahead of an official timeout.
And anytime he goes out, this offense becomes perimeter heavy. It has a little bit of balance when he's on the floor, not much balance when he's not. Guard the 3 if you're Tennessee.
5 out all around the perimeter for the Bulldogs. Osby wanted it, instead it triple for Bost. Another missed 3. Chisholm and Williams can't keep it in bounds. Mississippi State, another chance to get it to single digits. A miss on one end leads to more points in the paint for Tennessee. Falls by 13. Nervous times for basketball fans in Starkville, Mississippi, because the Bulldogs are 11 minutes and 53 seconds away from having the NCAA tournament bubble burst.
Hardy, look how well you play in a loss also jumps out at me. And this is a club, Mississippi State, an overtime loss to Kentucky, a 3-point loss at Vanderbilt. They've proven they can play with elite clubs. Those are the reasons why they could be in. Now let me give you the reasons why you could say there's no way they're out. They only have one.
Buys a little bit by the down year for UCLA. I mean, in most years, that's a game that you schedule. It's going to help your RPI one way or another. They went out.
Team on paper. Then you can have a strong statement for there's no way they should be in the tournament right now, okay? But the eye test, we talk about that a lot. They have passed my eye test every time I've seen them this year, with the exception of so far in this game. Now, this is the game that's most magnified and will be that lasting impression at some point. but they're 6th in the nation, making 9 threes a game. They're 3rd in the nation in block.
Do they have to win the SEC tournament in Nashville, do you think, to get that automatic bid like they did last year?
You know, I think so, because I think they're going to drop far enough down that they're not going to be viewed as one of those last 4 teams in or first 4 teams out. So they're going to have to leapfrog over 7 or 8 teams, and that's before you even consider those conference upsets that could come from with Butler not getting in or Gonzaga losing and stealing bids. We haven't even talked about those scenarios.
Travel called on Chisholm.
I think it matters. I think it's only a 1-bid league out of the Pac-10, but Mississippi State, they better get it going now, right now.
And if UAB goes and wins at UTEP tonight, that's a big boost for the Blazers. Tennessee takes a timeout. Mississippi State has it to 11. Can they finally get the ball lead down to single digits? Today in Starkville, a must-win game for the NCAA at-large chances, down 11 to Tennessee. Coming up later tonight on ESPN from Cameron. Our game here in Starkville. Maryland winning earlier today, so pressure on Duke tonight for that ACC regular season championship.
Out of timeout, Mississippi State goes zone, the first zone look of the ball game. Rick Stansbury just trying to find something that would give his team life for about 90 seconds. They need one of those 90-second 6-0 runs to put pressure on Tennessee.
They would take a 2-0 run or a 3-0 run right here to get to single digits. That counts as a run for Mississippi State today. And now finally, by my count, that's the 4th opportunity Mississippi State had to get it within single digits. The first time they succeeded. And Tennessee answers with a tough J.P. Prince layup.
Man or zone, J.P. Prince is going to go hard with his left every time he gets it on that wing. And you have to know it.
Stewart and Bernardo, the seniors from Tennessee, play the 2-man game again. Kick out. Phil Turner triple. Won't go. Loose ball won by Tatum and the Vols. Mays gives it up. Tatum, rim rocker. 13-point edge again for Tennessee.
Boy, so quick, so long, so athletic, and so quick are these guys in orange. And their length, I think, has had a big part of this ball game, taking away the threes of Mississippi State.
Bost for 3. Left it short. Hustles for the rebound. Kick out. Second chance. Osby backing in on Chisholm. Chisholm went straight up, got a piece of it. Prince to Williams in transition. He finishes around Bernardo again. So you were looking for a 6-0 run from Mississippi State. The Bulldogs were instead a 6-0 response from Tennessee. Into Bernardo.
And the quickness of Tennessee is very impressive all season long. And again, I go back to, they are so good with loose balls and an unbalanced floor. They score as well as anyone in this league in those situations. And you give them opportunities like Mississippi State has in this ball game with 11 or 12 turnovers, you are asking to get hammered.
Trouble getting it in. 5-second violation. Tennessee again defending the inbound.
I think over the last 4 years for Tennessee, they have averaged 3 turnovers forced per game off out-of-bounds situations. They really take it away from you.
Mississippi State is a team that relies on the 3. They've hit as many as 16 in a game this season. So down by 15, 8 minutes to go. Chances looking very dim, but if you get those 3s to start falling, again, they can get back in the ball game. Bost turns it over. Chisholm on the run out. Tennessee has numbers. Kick it back out to Bobby Mays. All 10 Tennessee players have scored. Prince has the most with 16.
Tennessee in position to be very selective now with their shots with 7:30 to go. You'll take that one every time. You'll take that one every time. You talk about shot selection, time, score, and momentum, to me, dictates your shot selection in a ball game. Outstanding job by the Vols.
Tennessee was off to a 17-0 start in this game, led by 17 at the break. Mississippi State got it to 9, and now it's 17 again.
State cannot get anything off of their on-ball screening action. The quick feet of the bigs of Chisholm and Williams. And again, they've got the 50-50 balls. They've gotten the 70-30 balls. They're getting the 90-10 balls right now. In football, you keep it scheduled just like you do in basketball, where you play your 2 teams from the West if you're in the West and 1 from the East. But you go 1 through 12, and your top 4 teams get those first-round byes as opposed to 2 from each division. There's been talk about that in the past, and this is the year that magnifies that situation being corrected.
And in the Big 12, there's no North and South division in basketball, but they schedule that way. The North teams face each other twice a year, only face a team from the South once a year, like you have in the SEC.
Changes the conference standings and how you keep them. You list them 1 through 12, and the top 4 teams get those byes next week in Nashville. To me, that rewards your best 4 teams in the regular season, and that should be the goal of that tournament.
Mississippi State was hoping with a win today to claim the SEC West outright, but perhaps more importantly was hoping to get a critical resume win at the end of the season. Scotty Hopson knocks down the triple there. Correction, long 2. And again, it's Tennessee by 17. Now, you said, Jimmy, that Rick Stansbury, 6 times during practice today said we absolutely have to win this game to have our NCAA at-large chances stay alive. So that was Rick Stansbury of Mississippi State. That was his analysis of his team's chances in the NCAA at-large. And yet here it is, another 17-point lead for Tennessee. Not looking good for the Bulldogs.
You know, and it's really hard to explain. I'm sure that staff will go immediately into a coaches meeting after this ball game, if you're Mississippi State, and say, what did we do wrong? What did we not get done in our pregame, in our practices, as far as having our guys at the magic level? And there's nothing more frustrating, perplexing, or complexing than to have those thoughts. And you know Rick Stansbury, right now you can almost see it. What it is right now. Hard to answer.
So they will share the West title with the loss today. Barry Stewart misses the 3 in the corner. There's Rayburn Johnson missing the stick back. Third chance, Augustus finally gets it to go. You know, for Tennessee, their NCAA tournament fate has already been sealed. They are in, they will be a high seed, so it's playing for high seeding. It's making a statement, and really, as Bruce Pearl said, it's about not just resting on your laurels at the end of the regular season. Let's go play well on the road to close out the regular season, be playing well, and feel good about ourselves going into the postseason.
Well, Tennessee can play with anybody. Obviously, they've proven that, knocking off Kentucky and Kansas this year. A 1-point loss to Purdue early in the year also when they had Robbie Hummel really jumps out at me about Tennessee. This is a volunteer club that could climb up to a 3 seed and be maybe the top 3 seed with a deep run next week in Nashville. They have length. They have terrific point guard play right now from Bobby Mays. Hopson is starting to play like that high school All-American we all thought he was 2 years ago. And I think defensively, these guys are terrific. They have been a blanket for Mississippi State to try to work through so far in this game.
December 31st, New Year's Eve, you and I had Tennessee winning at Memphis. It was later that night, more accurately in the early morning hours of New Year's Day, that there was the traffic stop in Knoxville. Tyler Smith driving a car. There was all suspended. If you would have said at that point, when they were down to 6 scholarship players dealing with all of those off-the-court distractions, that Tennessee would be the first team in 8 years to be the #1 team, a #2 team, that they would be sitting on 22 wins at the end of the regular season, that they would be a potential 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, you would have shocked about everyone in college basketball. That man may have been the only one who thought it was still a possibility for this year's Tennessee team.
But I'm sure he had hours back in January that he's not sure what direction this club was headed. But he has done an unbelievable job. And I have not heard too many people throw him into the National Coach of the Year conversation, but you can make a very strong case for Bruce Pearl for what he's had to maneuver through and be without and hold things together and keep these guys going. Again, they will not be easy to deal with in that NCAA tournament.
Turner triple off the look from Bernardo. Finally gets a roll to get Mississippi State within 11 with under 5 to go. Can the Bulldogs finally make a run in the last 5 minutes? A stop, but Tennessee keeps it off of Barry Stewart.
Not sure what Goins was thinking on that play. You got an 11-point lead, and you're about to ice this thing away, and you do not need quick shots in transition that are challenged. Tough twos right now from Tennessee. Eliminate them.
Blocking foul. Boss trying to draw the charge, instead a block.
I thought Boss had good position. You can be moving if you've established legal guarding position. And I think Boss, when I saw it live, had cut off Goins, and Goins initiated the contact. Ted Valentine immediately goes to the hands on the hip, signaling a block. And Rick Stansbury is testing the patience right now, the officials, out of that coaching box.
Tom Eads calming Rick Stansbury down and going back over to keep him in the coaching box. That's the job of calming down an upset head coach.
That may have been a case where Eads felt like it was maybe a missed call. He goes to Rick Stansbury and says, Coach, calm down. I'm going to be patient with you right now because you may have had a good argument.
Goins, there's Hobson following the miss from Goins. Officially, Tennessee has 12 second chance points, but it seems like all 12 have been critical. Bernardo wants it on the post instead of Boss 3. Raven Johnson misses the floater. Tatum right past Bernardo for the finger roll lay-in. A 15-point lead for Tennessee.
There have been 6, 7, 8 plays in this ball game that kind of sums it up, and there's another one. Allow an orange jersey to bring it rim to rim and go right through any type of defensive help or any type of defensive presence for an easy score.
Bernardo on the offensive end against his former high school rival Wayne Chisholm. Chisholm gets the block. Tatum boards it. Bumped by DeBost. Jarvis Bernardo has 541 career block shots, the most in NCAA history, and yet the Vols are taking it right to him with a 15-point lead.
Very, very important. I've talked to too many coaches over the years that have been a number 1 seed, a number 2 seed, or a 3 seed, and they talk about being protected in the bracket for especially that first weekend. And in a tournament like this year's that is so wide open and doesn't look like they have a lot of stability, I want to be a number 1 seed, and I want to be protected as much as I can in that bracket. The last 2 years, 6 out of the 8 number 1 seeds have gotten to the Elite 8. I think it's very important if you lock up a number 1 seed.
And 2 years ago in San Antonio, for the first time ever, it was all 4 of the number 1 seeds reaching the Final Four. That was Kansas' championship win over Memphis. Tennessee projected right now by Joe Lunardi as a 4 seed, but you think going into that NCAA tournament, Chisholm was trying to get a timeout, did not get it called, and now a bit of a dust-up between Wayne Chisholm and a couple of the Bulldogs. No fouls issued in there, just a jump ball and play on.
We needed to see more of that out of Mississippi State the first 32 minutes. Do you agree?
Absolutely. When it was 17-0 to start.
Excuse me, I ran out of fingers and toes. 37 minutes plus.
Yeah. We're going to have to get out the abacus. Figure out a few of the numbers in this one. It was a 17-0 Tennessee start. They were up 17 at the half. And bottom line is Tennessee brought the intensity. The dauber for Mississippi State. Dangerously low from the start.
Tennessee, one of those teams of, I think there's probably 16 to 20 this year that could get to that Final Four. I think Tennessee's one of them. And I think they've also proven it's just not just my opinion or passing the eye test. When you knock off Kansas and Kentucky in the same year, obviously you're a threat to go deep. But I think it's interesting, again, there are 5 teams I have my eye on that were not ranked in the preseason top 25. Xavier, Gonzaga, Vanderbilt, BYU, and K-State. None of those teams were ranked in the preseason top 25, and this could be a year that there are 25 teams in the country better than Xavier. And those 5 teams right now could do the same thing that Florida, LSU, and George Mason did in 2006. Come from
this will be win number 23, assuming they can close it out in the last 2 minutes. 5th consecutive 20-win season. All 5 years under Bruce Pearl, the Vols have won 20 games. That's the most for Tennessee men's basketball program since Don DeVoe's teams 81 to 85 won 20 games each year. Bruce Pearl in his 5th season. And how about this? In his 18 years as a head coach, he has never finished below 3rd place in a league that he's coached. That's Southern Indiana, Division II, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and now Tennessee, never finishing below 3rd place. They'll be 3rd place in the SEC East this year.
Well, that tournament next week, I think the SEC is solid with 4 teams right now. I don't think it's going to change. The wins that Florida have over Michigan State, Florida State, I think that's going to have enough shelf life when you compare Florida to some of those other teams out there right now that maybe only have 1 top 50 RPI win. Florida is okay. Certainly Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee. But now, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, it's hard to put a figure on how deep they would have to go next week. They may have to win the entire thing for this league to have 5 teams.
Do you think a team from the West can get in without winning the SEC tournament?
Not after today. I think Mississippi State showings does not help them at all. They were in the pecking order. They were down there, maybe the 9th or 10th team out. This loss today is going to be magnified because it's on national TV. But I will say this about Mississippi State. I would not be shocked if they win the tournament next week. They played poorly today, but they can get hot and make 3-point shots as well as anyone in the country. They did it last year and worked their way in. And this is a team out of the West, I think, that has the best chance to win it next week.
And Mississippi State won that championship game in the SEC tournament last year against Tennessee. The only time in the last 6 meetings that Mississippi State has beaten Tennessee was that SEC final last year when the Bulldogs got the automatic berth to the NCAA. And with this loss in convincing fashion today on their home floor, they'll probably need to win it next week in Nashville. Tomorrow, a Big Ten matchup.
Will Illinois handle the pressure of we must win better than Mississippi State did today? Because they're going to be in the same scenario, I think, tomorrow.
Well, the bubble may have burst earlier today for UConn. The at-large bubble appears to have burst today in Starkville for the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And a reminder, College Game Day, driven by State Farm, is coming up. Getting you ready for North Carolina versus Duke. Critical win in the regular season in the ACC. Maryland winning earlier today after that dramatic victory against Duke. As we check in with Ryan Burke.
Thanks so much, Carter. Over on ESPN2, it is the Atlantic Sun Championship.
Well, Ryan, we'll see if Mississippi State can get on another run in the SEC tournament, get that automatic bid. But as Bruce Pearl told his team, we don't want to rest on our laurels getting ready for the NCAA tournament. We're going to close it out strong with the win, a statement win And they did it today. A 17-0 start against Mississippi State in a must-win game for the Bulldogs, and they'll win it by 16.
And this drives home my point right now that the SEC, I think, needs to really look at in conference standings going 1 through 12. Tennessee will have to play on the first day of the tournament next week, and Mississippi State will get a bye.
Once again, the final score is 75-59 Tennessee over Mississippi State. For more on this game, tune to ESPN News. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So for Jimmy Dykes and our entire crew, I'm Carter Blackburn. A convincing 75-59 win for 13th-ranked Tennessee over Mississippi State. Now let's send you to College Game Day, driven by State Farm at Duke's Cameron Indoor Stadium.